And this is another thing that I think most of us at the street don't recognize, that in the last 30 years, there is a big revolution in surgery that most of the procedures are transforming from open surgery, which are the surgeon is opening the body and performing the surgery, to what's called minimal invasive surgery.
Welcome to 20-Minute Leaders. Just sit back, relax, and learn from the leaders of today. It's a journey. Each one is different, unique, inspiring. Let's get started. This episode is powered by J Ventures, a community-driven VC fund in Silicon Valley, in partnership with Lomitech, and sponsored by Homeward Ventures, Hippo Insurance, Upwest, Hillel at Stanford, Leap, and Birthright Excel. Welcome to another episode of 20-Minute Leaders. Today I'm being joined by Dotan Asselmann, the co-founder and CTO of Theator, and we're going to be talking about surgeries and AI. Dotan is CTO and co-founder of a leading surgical intelligence platform, Theator, and has a rich background in entrepreneurship, machine learning technologies, and software engineering. Prior to co-founding Theator, he was co-founder and CTO of computer vision startup EyeOnn, and previously served in the elite Israeli 81 unit, where he spent several years as a computer vision team leader. Welcome, Dotan. Dotan Asselmann, welcome to 20-Minute Leaders. I am really genuinely excited about this episode we're about to have. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me here.
You know, the intersection of AI, technology in general, and society fascinates me beyond what words can explain. Whenever I meet an interesting company that is doing yet again another interesting intersection of these two ideas, you know, that's just amazing to me. And I'm really excited to now dive deep into the world of how artificial intelligence is playing in the world of medicine and surgery, specifically with the actual surgical operations. Something that we can all imagine how complicated, cumbersome, sometimes disgusting it may be. But thinking how technology may be revolutionizing that aspect, I'm really excited. Dotan, before we even get to that, walk me a little bit through your life, because you've worked on a few projects that have a common thread of doing good for the world. So tell me a little bit about yourself.
So my background is in computer vision. Mostly I'm a computer vision researcher, engineer, and manager. I spent around almost 7 years in IDF intelligence in 81 unit in Israel. Then started my journey in entrepreneurship and startups. I was like a bit out of it, a consultant for many startups in Israel, specifically on computer vision. And always my passion was to know how to, like, if you're looking back in my background in IDF, so we did good. We did good by doing bad to bad people. Using technology, and I try to do something that is more purely good, let's say, and EyeOnn is a good example of it, like less of a good business, but really good, something that can be very impactful. And I think that in Theator we find like the common ground of both a very big and strong business model combined with the positive impact that we can provide.
And so just in 2 sentences, what you did with EyeOnn, you created a safety solution for swimming pools, trying to detect drowning using underwater cameras, obviously using the computer vision experience that you've had from before. And you know, every time we hear about another drowning occurrence in the newspaper, the heart breaks. And obviously this is a huge problem that you tried solving. Tell me a little bit about you know, Theator and what your understanding is of the medical space, especially what is the pain point that surgeons may be having today?
Yeah, and Theator started from the need and not from the technology. And we saw that actually from a personal experience of my co-founder, Tamir, that he's not a surgeon but a physician, and he diagnosed 2 different people around the same time with the need for with an appendix like problem, and they both needed an appendectomy. And they both went to different hospitals around New York, and they got a completely different treatment. One was at home 12 hours after in recovery, and the other almost died like 3 times and were like more than 7 days in hospital. And this is like really resonates to us, like how much of a variability there is in healthcare in general, and specifically in the surgery care. And we started to investigate this field, and we saw that it wasn't just like a one random example. This is something that's happening all around. There are huge differences in performance, and this is like causing from the basis of how surgery is being thought and performed. And this is the problem that we try to tackle. We wanted to reduce variability in surgical care.
Okay, so you're talking about variability in surgical care. The direct translation of that is life and death, right? There's variability in a lot of things in life, but here we're actually talking about, whether somebody will successfully come out of the surgery and live a happy, healthy life versus potentially not. And at the end, whenever we have humans in the middle, we have variability, and that's a common understanding. But please go on. I think I interrupted you.
No, so I think that when you're looking at what is causing the variability, you're seeing that the main cause for variability is decision making, and this is something that I think most of us as patients doesn't understand how many decisions surgeon needs to take doing even like the most common and standard procedure like an appendectomy or a cholecystectomy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is one of the amazing part that decisions are not really being there isn't any information that's being transferred in horizontal matter. There is only your experience, maybe an experience of the mentor that help you during your residency, but there isn't anything that is structured that you can learn best practices from. There aren't best practices in surgery or real
right.
evidence.
And so what you're actually saying is that by horizontal understanding, you're meaning that there is no network effect of, the more surgeons you have, the more knowledge you provide to the next surgeon, because it's very much siloed. It's very vertical, where you're learning from your superior and your mentor, but you're not learning from your peers in a proper way, right?
And now multiply it by 400 years of modern surgery, and you are getting like
right.
huge differences in the approaches.
Right. Yeah.
And today, when you're looking on how best practices are defined by asking, but by a Delphi consensus. So you are asking like the 10 most prestigious surgeons what are the best way to approach a specific situation, and they are voting on something, and there is some decision out of it, but nothing that is really grounded by statistics. And This is something that we wanted to change. We want to bring science into surgical best practices, and this is what Theator. This is in general the mission of Theator, and how I'm as a computer vision engineer and researcher and entering this domain is by seeing the huge opportunity that there is in surgery. And this is another thing that I think most of us at the street don't recognize, that in the last 30 years there is a big revolution in surgery that most of the procedures are transforming from open surgery, which are the surgeon is opening the body and performing the surgery, to what's called minimal invasive surgery, which are all of the laparoscopic, all of the X-scopias of the world, or robotic surgery, which means basically that the surgeon, instead of opening the entire body, they are doing 2 or 3 or up to 4 holes, very small holes in the body. They are pushing a camera and 2 more holes for the tools, and the entire surgery is being performed by the surgeon looking at the screen instead of looking at the specific patient. And
this is obviously screaming to us computer vision, computer vision, computer vision.
So when you're looking at what are the decisions that are impacting the outcome, the decisions are already being captured by the camera. So yeah, it's amazingly, like you're saying, this is like a lost opportunity. There's so many decisions and so many information that just being lost and stay in the OR. And only thing that the first thing that you need to do is just press the record button and start to understand better what happened there. And this is where I think this is our starting point for us, that we understood that there is a big problem, there is a big need, and there also already big opportunity that the hardware already exists, but nobody is doing anything with it.
I love it. Okay, so before we get to the technology, which is the really cool part here, consumer experience perspective, you go to the surgeon. what do they say when they're thinking of this idea of bringing in AI to use this? Do they look at this as a black box, as a competitor? Because you're talking about 400 years of modern surgery, very horizontal, where they're being taught that, their intuition, their eyes, their brain, their hands are what should guide the surgery. How are they reacting to this idea that a lot of the decision making is now going to be replaced by technology, whether it's through Theator or through somebody else?
So when we started it as an idea, so a lot of like eyeballing, and nobody really understand how it is going to be like. But today,
right.
This is much more common. We need to remember that there are a new generation of surgeons that are used to be. Everyone is a visual learner today. You don't like video is overtaking the entire internet, right? And even this interview we are doing using video. And those this is a generation of YouTube, Netflix surgeons also wants to consume their knowledge using videos, so it's more common to them. And we are seeing that there is a huge transformation from 3 years ago that we needed really to find the early adopters to today that everyone understands that there are so many knowledge that we can gain from surgical videos that you can't leave yourself out of this next revolution.
Okay, so let's dive deep into this revolution from Theator's perspective. What are you using computer vision for in the realm of surgery, and how is this actually going to help make the surgeries better in the end?
Yeah, so we call it surgical intelligence. This is a term that we have coined, and we are happy to see it being taken from other companies and conferences, and it's always cool to being asked by a customer if we are doing surgical intelligence, which is a word that we defined.
Amazing.
And so the basic of surgical intelligence is understanding best practices, but we are doing a stepwise approach to providing our services. At the basis, at the core of the technology, we can take a surgical video that can be very long, can be 6-7 hours long, and we are breaking it down to the most common we call it moments, the most common moments in the surgery. So we are breaking it to the key steps, which are the things that the specific actions that the surgeons are doing. Events that are more, in most cases, adverse event, things that shouldn't happen but happening in the surgery. Key milestones that a surgeon needs to get to, and we can detect whether or not you get to the specific milestones, and the decision-making junctions, the point in time of surgery that a big decision needed to be made from one or two options, or maybe more than two. And think about it based on this basic layer of extraction, we are completely converting this unstructured raw footage to something that is much more structured. And this is allowing us to provide a lot of services. The first service that we provide, and it's always very easy to understand, is a surgical summary. So you just got out of 6-hour long procedure. You want to review your case. You don't have 6 hours to watch it. But what about just like in soccer? You can just watch the goals and the main events. So we can extract a surgical summary of 3 to 4 minutes out of the entire surgery that help you to review your case very quickly. Or maybe not you, maybe your supervisor or a colleague that can help you and provide you with some feedback. So this is the start of it, and we are starting to build an entire ecosystem around this core technology that help surgeons with any step of their daily workflow. So it's from pre-surgery, you need to prepare for your surgery tomorrow. What about us showing you similar cases, similar specific events that will help you to be prepared to this, not just for the cholecystectomy that you have tomorrow, but on cholecystectomy with someone with pyoabdominal surgery that has obesity. We have the specific characteristics, and we can show you 5 to 10 minutes of the main things that you need to be aware of. So this is pre-surgery. During surgery, we are providing live stream of the video. currently we are not providing any, although in the technology, from technology perspective, we are already detecting everything real time. We are not providing any indication to the outside. This is due to regulatory reasons at the moment, but of course, this is our goal. We want to help surgeons not by providing feedback about their decisions, but helping them when they are like in the main key points that they need to make the decision during surgery. But we are providing live streaming to the outside and helping surgeons to get advices from colleagues. And post-surgery, the summary, of course, analytics on top of it, and also helping with documentation of the surgery. And then think about it, if you have, once you have all of this analysis for one procedure, you can provide other views that can help you in a department level, in a personal level, maybe like seeing your weekly performance and trends, seeing the department's performance, bottlenecks, and everything is very actionable. And this is basically what we are providing on top of this basic core layer of extracting those structure out of the surgical videos.
Amazing. And obviously, in the pre-surgery and the post-surgery, it makes perfect sense. And, I'm already thinking about, drawing the parallel to the debriefing sessions of the Israeli Air Force, or through coaching sessions post, soccer games, where you're sitting and you're either preparing by watching previous games of the team, or you're debriefing later to watch what went wrong and what moves worked, didn't work. And it makes perfect sense. And I can't believe that it's not happening yet. Go ahead.
I know it's amazing that you have any NBA player have it, but less of an important job like surgery doesn't have any of those. And they understand, surgeons understand that you can't, you need to, if you want to improve, you need to measure, and if you want to measure, you want to capture. And this is, I think, getting back to the main question. If you are going to a surgeon and tell you, I want to start capturing all of the things that you are doing, without providing anything in return, so they are getting defensive. But for them, they want this analysis. They want to. They know that if you're not capturing, you can't really measure anything.
But Dotan, pause with me, dwell with me for another minute on the during the surgery, because obviously this is the most interesting piece. We're talking now about the live streaming and getting inputs from the outside. I mean, what is the vision here at the end in terms of actionable insights during the surgery? And is this something that, what's the barrier? Is this a technological barrier? Or is this a consumer behavioral barrier, an adoption barrier?
So it's all of the above. I think it's there is a regulatory barrier that we can put aside. This is a process that needs to be made. I think on technological perspective. So although we are running everything in real time, we don't have the same performance as we have post surgery, of course. And even if we are, we need to get to a certain level of confidence that we can really provide this feedback in real time. That I don't think that we are there yet, but we are in the process to it. And the third, you cut it right. I think that there is a consumer adoption barrier that, and this is actually connect to even what we are doing right now is kind of like a spaceship for any medical professional, because healthcare was so much in the past that just providing what we are providing right now is like a huge advancement for them. So providing really like AI assistant during surgery is even more than like a spaceship technology, and you need the surgeons to be involved in the process. And this is something that we are doing right now. We are involving. This is how they feel. We have our customers. They met us before surgery. They are meeting us after surgery. They are building their knowledge. They're building our relationship with our system that eventually will get them to a specific point that they can accept the feedback that we are providing during surgery. And even if the technology was ready, I don't think that we were able to deploy it in this year because of those problems. you need to like
Right.
to have the surgeons in the process.
Fascinating. And I have to put the context of the whole conversation at the end that we're talking about an industry that is all around surrounding life and death. This is not just, an adoption for better use. This is literally going to change the sphere. And I just love the understanding of how vertical the whole learning environment is, and the improvement where you have 400 years of modern surgery behind you that has been this way, but when we're missing out on the whole horizontal layer of this expansion and this knowledge sharing. And Dotan, thank you for the amazing work that you're doing with Theator. Thank you for the great work that you're doing with EyeOnn, and I just love the usage of computer vision for these types of problems. I have a few more questions, not about Theator, not about surgery, but about you. I want you to take me back to childhood, something that really fascinated you before computer vision, before the IDF.
It was always around technology. I think I always like to build stuff, mostly hardware actually. Maybe I'm not that old, but maybe because of my age, so less of a software stuff. And I think mostly like build stuff, maybe like break stuff and try to rebuild them. That's mostly
and something that inspires you today.
So it will be too easy to say Theater, but I think in general I'm always inspired by any. So I'm really like a product driven or like impact driven person, and I'm an engineer as well. But I'm always fascinated to see how technology is being used for positive impact in healthcare, in agri-tech, in many fields. But this is like the main passion for me.
Amazing. And what are 3 words you would use to describe yourself?
Oh, well. I don't know. I don't know how to answer that. I think, I don't know if I can, maybe I can do like in a word, in one word, it will be like a contrarian. Contrarian, this is how we say it.
I love it. I absolutely love it, and I'll take it. Dotan, I think that's a great description, and I really want to thank you for coming on and sharing with me these 20 minutes. I'm leaving very, very inspired, so thank you very, very much, and continue making a positive impact, and stay safe and stay healthy.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you.
Bye.